Hey everyone, welcome to Tom's Top Bass Tips, where in this mini-series I'm going to be going over all the key components you need to get started on the bass. Let's go! Starting any instrument can be very daunting, especially when there's no one there to guide you. That's why I'm here. In the next few videos, I'm going to be going over some key components that I think you need to get started on the bass, such as maintenance, techniques, scale, groove. But in this video, I'm going to be going over what the bass actually is. So let's get started. Right, so what actually is the bass? The bass is more commonly seen as a 4-string instrument which plays the bass notes to aid a song harmonically, melodically, or rhythmically. Now I know what you might be thinking, Tom, your bass has 5 strings. That's just because I'm bad with money. It's not actually a necessity for bass players to have 5 strings. You can do anything on a 4-string that you can on a 5-string. All this allows me to do is that if I'm playing higher up on the fretboard, I can do longer riffs starting on lower notes as such. It also gives me different tonalities for if I'm playing different notes. For if I want to play a B, I can play it here, which gives it a nice twang. I can play it up here, which is more low and bassy. It also, another perk of it is it allows me to play a low B and play lower than your standard E bass. But that again is not a necessity for the bass. Next up, I'm going to do the different parts of the bass. This is the headstock at the very top. This is what holds your tuning pegs, which you tighten all your strings to. Then on the very back, you can also usually see your serial number, where it's made, and also what kind of bass it is. On my one, it doesn't have access to the truss rod up here, but a lot of basses, there'll be a little hole at the top, right at the top of your fretboard, where you can access the truss rod, and I'll get into that in the maintenance video. Next up is the strings. This is what you're going to be plucking to play all the beautiful notes. The open notes of the string is E, A, D, and G. Then because I have a 5-string, I've got a low B as well. The strings range from the bridge, which is usually located at the bottom of the bass, all the way to your tuning pegs on the headstock. Next up is the fretboard. This is also known as the neck on the bass. This is what you're going to be pushing down on to play all those beautiful notes. On the fretboard, you'll see these little mini bars here. These are called frets. These are placed to play the different notes, so you don't really have to worry about where in between them your finger is placed. You always play the same note. You might also notice on the fretboard there's these little dots placed over. These are your fret inlays, and they are there to help you navigate along the frets. They are located at the 3rd fret, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, and so forth. A lot of different basses will have different numbers of frets on their fretboard. Mine's a 24 fret, but they can range from 21 to 24, very rarely 26 as well. Right, moving on to the body of the bass. This is what rests on your leg, or you can attach your strap to with these little pegs right here. It's also what houses all your electronics. You may see on my one, it's a wee bit of a weird shape. I can go into that in a wee bit of a minute, but you also will notice that my neck runs all the way through to the bottom. So this is called a through neck bass, where the body attaches to the side of it. Some people might say it gives you more sustain or anything over a 2-part bass, which you'll notice probably on your bass, as it has a metal plate on the back which attaches the neck to it. You also notice this little part right here on my bass. This just allows me to slide my thumb all the way up to the top of the frets for if I'm playing high, which is not actually a necessity on the bass, but it does make it a lot nicer to play. On the back here we've got the battery and access to the components. And on the other side, I'm going to go over the electronics. I've got 2 pickups here, my bridge pickup as it's closest to my bridge, my neck pickup. This can vary depending on how close it is to the neck. I've got my volume knob here, and I've got my pickup control. This little switch here allows me to access passive and active, which just turns the battery on and off, and either lets me use my EQ that I've got placed here, which has a mid EQ, a treble EQ, mid EQ, and a bass EQ. That is not a necessity on most basses, it just gives you more control over the tone, but you can get just passive basses, which are just the tone knob and volume knob. They're much simpler, to be honest, in my opinion. I also like the sound of them more. And we've also got on the side of the bass here, this is where my jack is located. This is what you plug your cord into to run to your amp. This can either be on the bottom here or sometimes on the top. And then we've got the 2 strap pegs right here so that you can stand up while playing. That's the main parts of the bass. Remember to keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.